Well, hello there, everybody. Welcome back. It's been a bit. Hope you guys enjoyed the holiday break there. I did enjoy it myself. Well, sorry to come back with this one, but certain people were naughty for Christmas, and it's time I give them a good old bag of coal. So, I'm ending this year off getting all of this out of the way. This is gonna be my last video talking on this topic and just putting this all behind me. But yes, I'm gonna be talking about October 13th, and I'm gonna be talking about just every problem I've had with University of Houston Police Department so far. It's been very obnoxious, very annoying with everything that's happened. They've made so many countless mistakes and so many issues, and I'm just going to get all of that out, get all that negative energy out, and just be done and move forward. But I do think it is important that I share every single experience I've had with them. I share just everything that I've seen with them. Because, some people going through everything that I've been going through trying to seek justice for October 13th and doing all that, a lot of people probably think I'm crazy, I'm whiny, and I'm saying all this stuff, and none of it's justified. And I also understand that I am just a person speaking, and it could be difficult to trust my word on everything and whatnot. So I'm going to talk about just everything that went on with this. And alright, so because I'm talking about everything and I am going to be factual with everything and whatnot and really address the stories, I am going to be using real names and stuff. Maybe I'll end up taking this video down later on because of that or whatnot, but I am going to just say the names, say what really happened, lay that all out there, and thus people can Google search, do research, and fact check me on everything I'm saying, because everything I'm saying is truly what happened. You can see it all there. The evidence is all there. You can trust everything I'm saying. But before I start, I'm also going to give a trigger warning to stuff I'm going to be talking about here. Police brutality, a little bit of hate speech, just a little bit, prison rape, and just threats of harm. But yeah, gonna be talking about all that stuff. Fun. Alright, so let's get into this. So the first thing I do want to discuss about University of Houston Police Department, aka UHPD. First thing I want to discuss about them is how weird the system is. I noticed this when trying to get justice for the October 13th situation. I had to go to the school and then go to the police department and go through all these steps. It's very annoying. You have to repeat yourself so much and you have to talk to so many different people, and yet still nothing gets done. But one thing I did notice through all this is just how weird everything is structured and done. And it's pretty much done this way on purpose. So, UHPD is the police department for the university, right? So here's the thing. Here's the thing that people are going to be wondering. Well, okay, so is it the university's fault? Do I talk to the university about their cops screwing around or something? Do I talk to them about it? That's what I thought. No, you don't talk to the university about it because the police department is its own department and its own thing, and thus you talk to them for police issues. Okay, so I talk to them, right? Well, kind of. But, if you're calling out just one or several officers, well, who are said officers, who hired them, blah blah blah. All those things are things you gotta look into. Well, who did hire all these people? Well, that would be some mysterious figure who does all the hiring. Who does all the hiring? I still don't know. I still don't know to this day. I still have no idea. I talked to everyone, and I still have no idea. Nobody wants to disclose who hired everyone. Why is that? Because it's a very easy way to not take any accountability. If people are screwing up and making mistakes left and right, it's easy to point a finger, right? But if you don't know who hired them, who told them to be there, who did this and that and the other, well, now you don't know who to point the finger at, and if you don't know who to point the finger at, there's literally nothing you can do. Thus, the university, the police department, everybody walks free and there's no fingers pointed because you have no idea who actually is the guilty person. And literally no one wants to take the accountability for it. Who's guilty? I don't even know. I want to point the finger at everyone, but there is not one single figure I can point the finger at. Because they've made it too hard to find the one person responsible for everything. I've talked to pretty much everyone of note in the situation, and yet every single one of them said, no, it's this other person, it's this other person, it's this other person, and I don't know who it truly is. I think they're all guilty in my mind, but I guess because I didn't find the one figure who did all the hiring or whatever, I still don't know who to point the finger at. Congratulations, they all get to walk free now. Great. So yeah, that's a gripe I have with them, but let's get into the real issues here. Let's get into talking about all the many mistakes they have made, all the issues I've had with them over the few years of being there at the campus. So, instance number 1. Jacob McCullen. So, UHPD, if you're watching this, maybe that name just made you shake. Maybe you're scared. Maybe you're surprised that I just dropped that name and know anything about that. Yep, I know all about the case. I was there for the whole thing. I was his suite mate. I know everything. I know every detail of it, and I'm gonna tell everyone all about that lovely story that you guys would want to sweep under the rug. So, Jacob McCullen is a violent criminal. He was a violent criminal before he went to the University of Houston, and he was a violent criminal after he left the University of Houston. Now, I say left, I believe he left. Maybe he was kicked out. I don't know all the details, but considering that he was able to go back to his dorm, grab his things, and then leave without there being some kind of cops or some kind of issue with that, I'm gonna take it he left and he wasn't kicked out, because I would imagine you would, ban him from the college for everything he did or something. But no, he was still able to just walk on there and grab his stuff, so I'm gonna assume that he just left. But yes, he was a known violent criminal. He was a known violent criminal that was kicked out of the South Baptist University, that is a sister university to the University of Houston. He was kicked out of that for being a violent criminal. He was also arrested. After he was let out of jail, surprise, surprise, where did he go? To the University of Houston. Now, like I said, the University of Houston is a sister university to the South Baptist University. And yet, they still let him in. Knowing that he got kicked out and is a known criminal, they still allowed him to go on there. Not only did they allow him to go to the university, they also allowed him to get a dorm room on said university, meaning that this known violent criminal would be sharing a room with 3 innocent students who had no idea that the person they are living with is a known violent criminal. So, this all happened, and I was right there for it all, because this all happened right across the room from me. I was their suite mate. I was right across from them. And one of my roommates, his brother, lived in the same room as Jacob McCullen. So, the brother, his friend, the brother and his friend, also roommate, they were very creeped out by Jacob and all his shenanigans. Which makes sense. He's a violent criminal, he's a very creepy guy. I had some interactions with him, some friends of mine had some interactions with him. He was a very creepy, weird guy. So yeah, I would also be uncomfortable if I had to sleep in the same room as him. I would be very uncomfortable with that. So, justifiably, the brother and the friend, they were uncomfortable sleeping in the same room with him, so they kind of talked to some people around the school and eventually talked to the police about how weird this guy is and how kind of creepy and almost threatening he seemed. The cops did absolutely nothing about it, of course, but not only did they do nothing about it, the funniest part about this is the cops knew of him. They knew of him. This is how I know all these details about him, because the cops knew all the details. The cops were like, oh, Jacob McCullen, yeah, that's that guy that got kicked out of the South Baptist University. Yeah, he's a violent criminal. He already has a criminal record. We know all of this. And yet, we're going to sit back and let this violent criminal live in the same room as a bunch of innocent students. We didn't even disclose this information to said innocent students until now, after you have sought police help. Just now, we're informing you that, oh yeah, he's a violent criminal and all that. Are we going to do something about it? No. No. Good luck. Just go hang out with the violent criminal. It's okay. You'll be fine. So yeah. Brother and the friend, they went to the police multiple times talking about issues with Jacob. The police continued to do absolutely nothing. At one point, they got so scared that they slept in our room, me and my roommate's room. They slept on our couch because they feared for their lives sleeping in the same room as a known violent criminal. So yeah, luckily we were there, luckily his brother was there and all that stuff. So yeah, we could keep them safe from that. But yes, they feared for their lives. All that was happening, they were already talking to the police and nothing was getting done. Eventually, stuff did finally fall apart and stuff got done, but that was because Jacob himself went to the police and claimed that his roommates were attacking him. So the police, for some reason this time, listened, went and investigated their dorm, and it was clear to them that Jacob was attacking the roommates. The roommates were not attacking Jacob. The police tried to calm the situation, and Jacob assaulted several officers, got violent, and thus was arrested because he assaulted several officers. So, let's just do a little recap on everything that just happened in that story. A violent criminal was let in the same vicinity as a bunch of innocent students without their knowledge, and then when they complained to the police about this, the police did absolutely nothing until said criminal assaulted an officer, and then he was finally arrested. Because, you can threaten people's lives, you can mess with innocent students, do whatever you want with them, threaten them with a knife, do whatever you want, be violent, and be as violent as you want, but you can't hurt a cop, though. So yeah, he was eventually arrested, but even then, like I said, he paid bail, he got out and was able to go back, grab his stuff, but luckily he did leave the university. He didn't stay there, he just grabbed his stuff and left. But yes, all of that happened. That is outrageously irresponsible on every person's part. The university was incredibly irresponsible to let this person on their campus, incredibly wrong for letting them be in a dorm with innocent students, and then the cops were completely wrong for doing absolutely nothing about it for the longest time. You can look this up, that's the name, you can look up the case, all that stuff, it's all true. But hey, that was all wrapped up, and hopefully, the university learned from this and wouldn't make the same mistake again. Surprise, surprise, they made the exact same mistake again. So, after that situation was done, new semester rolls in, and another known violent criminal, was allowed onto campus. Kevin Okofo. Remember that name, police? Alright, Kevin Okofo, another violent criminal. This one, specifically, was known for burning shit down. He was an arsonist. He would light buildings on fire. He was already arrested for lighting buildings on fire. But hey, he paid bail, got out of jail, and of course, University of Houston was like, yeah, sure, why not? Why not? Come on. You know, you light buildings on fire, but hey, sometimes you gotta have some fun. So come on in. Come on into the university. No problem, no problem. And take a wild guess what he did there. He burned a building down. Luckily, nobody was inside the building. They got people out. Everything was safe. Nobody got hurt. But yes, he burnt a building on the University of Houston. And he would have gotten away with it too if he didn't try to burn another building afterwards, in which he got caught in the act that time. But yes, after the whole Jacob McCullen situation, University of Houston refused to do anything better, refused to learn from their mistake, and stop doing that shit, and once again let on another violent criminal who burnt shit down. Luckily nobody was hurt, but dude, this guy could have literally burnt a building full of people. You guys are fucking idiots. But yes, he was arrested and nobody was hurt. Funny enough, when he was arrested and questioned as to why he did what he did, his response was literally, because I could. And he wasn't wrong. He could literally just light a building on fire and nobody was going to stop him. So, as you can see, there's been plenty of mistakes that both University of Houston faculty and the University of Houston Police Department have made here. There have been other things, such as, other things that I know less about. I've heard plenty of people say that there's rape going on at the campus. In fact, one claimed that the student president was actually a rapist too, which at this point I wouldn't be surprised. But yes, as you can see, there's a lot of mistakes. So, now let's talk about what happened on October 13th. I've already shared a lot of my side of the story, so I'm not going to get into too much of my story again here. Just a brief summary. So on October 13th, Matt Walsh was coming to do a stupid-ass talk about transphobia, and I was a part of a protest against him. At said protest, I walked to a door. I went to a door, opened up a door, and it was a restricted area, and I got bitched down. I put my hands up and just simply said, I'm looking for my friend. My friend went missing. I'm not trying to start anything. I'm just looking for my friend. An officer was brought over, and he got physical with me for no reason. I was calmly just asking where my friend was, and he got physical with me. Whatever. If you want more details, I already have that video about that stuff. I'm not going to talk about my situation that much on October 13th. I'm going to talk about my friend's situation. The one that went missing. I already said some details about how they got arrested, all that. So, I'm going to name drop my friend here and talk about the entire story with that. So my friend is Alejandro Covo. They were a part of this protest, and they were very passionate about this protest. They were very passionate about this because they are a happy member of the LGBTQ community. They're non-binary and a happy part of the community, and they have plenty of other friends on the community and really feel that the community is their home. It's where their friends are, and it's where they belong. So, when that community is under attack, they get really passionate about fighting back, which is very understandable. So, what Alejandro did was they walked into a restricted area. Now, said restricted area, like I said, it was a door. A door. There was no caution tape, no big signs saying it was off limits, any of that. It was just a door. A door that we have walked through plenty of times on campus. Just a door. So they walked through a door to get closer to the theater where the actual Matt Walsh event was going on, to protest over there, and they were tackled to the ground by several officers and viciously handcuffed and taken away. All they did was walk through a door. They had no malicious intent. They were just peacefully protesting, never threatened anyone, never tried to harm anyone, just walked through a door. Now, I know so much about them getting tackled down and handcuffed and all that, not just because they told me, but because the footage of them getting tackled and handcuffed is viral online, and I saw it there. Because the asshole who ran this event, who booked this event in the first place, thought it was really fucking funny to get over there, laugh, and record my friend being physically hurt and handcuffed by several officers. Real funny. By the way, said person was in the restricted area. They weren't tackled to the ground. Nothing happened to them. Not sure why that is. But yeah, real funny. Get up there and film the innocent person getting harassed and handcuffed. Real fucking funny. So, that happened. And when I say innocent, let's talk about that for a bit. Because I'm going to get into more details of what happened, what their full experience was. But let's talk about how, at the end of the experience, when they were let out of prison, was it because they paid bail? No. It's because they were found innocent and guilty of 0 charges. They were found innocent. 0 charges. So when I say that Alejandro was innocent through all of this, that is a factual statement that the legal system would back me up on. This is why I name dropped them, because you can look into it, see that there was a case, and they were found innocent. So, that viral footage, that very funny viral footage of that person getting tackled and handcuffed, that was an innocent person being harassed by several officers. All true. So, let's talk a little bit about their experience. You already know they were tackled down, handcuffed, but let's talk about some other things. And warning, this is gonna get into some dark shit. This is gonna be real disturbing stuff. But yeah, I heard about it, they had to go through it, so we're gonna talk about everything that went down with this. So, they were thrown into a jail cell. But were they just thrown into a jail cell? No. They were stripped of their clothes, then thrown into a jail cell. They were referred to as both a filthy Jew and the F slur by the police officers. That is how they were treated. They were stripped of their clothes, thrown in the cell, called a filthy Jew and the F word slur. Real classy, officers. They then made a joke about them being anally raped in prison after ripping their clothes off. Wow. Sounds great. And then as they were walking away from Alejandro's cell, they stopped at the cell next to them, which had a woman of color in it, and they called said woman of color a dirty N-word. Hard R, apparently, on that as well. Real nice work there, officers. So yes, Alejandro was terrified, freezing, and scared for their life in a disgusting jail cell, so they freaked out and faked a seizure to get any kind of help from the officers. They had to fake a seizure to get any kind of help from the officers. So they did get some kind of help, and by some kind of help, I mean an officer put some clothes on them and then threw them right back in the cell. It's absolutely disgusting, hearing this entire story and everything that they went through. And let me remind you, again, that said person that went through all of this was innocent. So, they were let go after a few days in jail. They were let go, innocent, and they're done. But of course, they were so abused and this whole situation was so disgusting that they tried to take action and get justice done for what happened to them. I mean, they were clearly assaulted and abused while being innocent. This is fucking bullshit and something should be done about it, right? Well, said investigation, I believe, is still going on, and I'm sure at this point Alejandro is just done with it. This is just what happens with these kind of situations. It's what's happening with mine as well. The investigation is still ongoing, blah blah blah, and it's gonna be ongoing for 50 fucking years if they want it to. They're just gonna keep elongating it until you just give up and stop trying to do it. Stop trying to get justice. And congratulations, they won on that front, because yes, they committed so many horrible acts, and yet they're going to get away with it because they're the ones in charge. You can point the finger at them all you want, but they're going to make the investigation go on for 50 fucking years, and you're just going to be like, I'm done. I'm done. I don't want to do this anymore. I don't want to keep going through this process, keep going through this investigation. I'm done. Just drop the case, whatever. Fuck you guys. Go walk free. I don't care anymore. But yes, anyone who is confused by it, the footage went viral. You can see my friend being abused. You can look up and see how he was found innocent. They were found innocent of this whole case. You can see all this, and there you go. That's really all you need. Why does there have to be a long-ass investigation with the school involved, the police involved, and everyone involved, and they're gonna elongate it and all this shit? Why do they need to do that? I have no fucking idea, because all you really need to do is look at that. Look at the footage. Is my friend being abused in that situation? Yes, they are. Are they innocent, or are they a criminal where this would be justified? No, they are not a criminal. They are innocent. Thus, it is not justified. Thus, they are abusing an innocent person at that point. This should be case closed. Officers have to answer, and you can see all the officers in said footage. There should be no issues, no discussion. This should be over in 2 fucking seconds, and yet it isn't. So yes, that is pretty much everything I wanted to cover with the UH Police Department. I've been very upset with them. I'm very pissy with everything. But yes, I'm finally dropping my case. I'm done with all of this. I'm done with it all. Because I'm just tired of dealing with all of this. It's clear as day that they have made so many mistakes, and they are just horrible people, that have failed to do their job, but none of them are actually going to have to answer for any of their crimes. None of them are actually going to get punished for any of this, because they're the ones in charge. The investigation is going to go on for 50 years. It's never going to happen. It's clear as day. Anyone with half a brain can look at what happened and figure out real quick who's guilty, who needs to answer for this stuff, and yet none of them will. It's very frustrating. But this is my way of dealing with that. I'm just going to make this video saying everything I've dealt with, every wrongdoing I've seen of them, and just spew it all out. People can come to their own conclusions on that. Through my process, through my case, what's happened, like I said, I'm done, but I do want to just talk about a few details with it. Like I said, I had to talk to the school and then talk to the police department, and everybody wants to just make up this fictional figure and say, oh, it's this fictional figure's fault. It's not my fault. It's not their fault. It's nobody's fault. It's nobody's fault. Some mystical figure that doesn't even exist. It was all their fault. Who was this mystical figure? I don't know. I don't know. The person that did all the hiring? I don't know who it is. I probably met the fucking person who already did the hiring, and they just pretended that they weren't the person that did the hiring. Everyone should be taking accountability, but nobody is. Another fun detail. They looked into my case, and they said they would do the investigation, look into it. Like I said, it's been months since this. They've been looking into it for months. They still claim that, oh, we can't get the right footage. We looked into the footage and we can't see enough and blah, blah, blah. I asked if I could look at the footage, if I could be a part of it in any way, if I could help out. And they're like, no, you can't be a part of it. Which is the stupidest fucking thing I've ever heard. Because why would you not want the person involved in said incident to talk about said incident and point out in the footage where it happened and all that stuff? Your biggest issue was you couldn't see it in the footage. Then let me show you where it is in said footage. But I can't do that. For some fucking reason I can't do that. That's against the rules. So stupid, so frustrating. And this is just what we're a part of. But yeah. Can't do anything about it, so I'm gonna move on from it. So, for anyone that's gone through similar situations with officers, other situations where you got screwed over, people won't listen to you, anything like that. Anyone who's gone through situations like that, I want you to know you're not alone. Other people are going through it. Even though I'm calling out University of Houston for all these issues, it's probably not just University of Houston. It's definitely not just University of Houston. Plenty of other universities probably have this problem, and it's probably just really a police problem in America as a whole. This kind of stuff just happens all the time. Nobody wants to take the accountability. Nobody wants to actually say, yeah, my co-worker buddy actually did really screw up and he deserves to get punished for it. Nobody wants to do that, or nobody wants to take responsibility for being the one who hired the guy who screwed up, or blah blah blah. It's just a bunch of bullshit. This is what we deal with, and I'm sorry. I'm sorry that anyone had to go through this. I'm sorry that this is the case. But I think the best way to handle these things is, for one, talk to a community like I'm doing here, talking to YouTube, or talking to that. Talk to people, know you're not alone, know that other people understand what you're going through and they're there for you. And the best thing to do is really just be happy. Move on from it. Don't let it tear you up. And be happy with moving on. Me and Alejandro, we're doing great stuff. We have good plans for the future. We have good plans. Things coming up. We've moved on from this. We're better off now. We don't have to worry about any of this stuff. We're leaving it behind, and we're moving on. We're just going to be there for each other, and we're going to be happy. Unlike all the asshole jerks who have to abuse a system and abuse other people to feel anything. Unlike them, we're going to be happy just being together, working together, and being good people. And I encourage anyone else going through difficult times to do the same thing. Talk to people, be happy with the people around you, and don't worry about those idiots who abused you, those terrible people who abused you. Don't worry about them. So yeah, that's what I got. Anyways, make McChickens, not war.